Well, resumed the Catalan, as he saw the final glimmer of Caderousse's reason vanishing before the last glass of wine. Well, then, I should say, for instance, resumed Danglars, that if after a voyage such as Dante has just made, in which he touched at the island of Elba, someone were to denounce him to the king's procurer as a Bonapartist agent. I will denounce him, exclaimed the young man hastily. Yes, but they will make you then sign your declaration and confront you with him you have denounced. I will supply you with the means of supporting your accusation, for I know the fact well. But Dante cannot remain forever in prison, and one day or another he will leave it, and the day when he comes out, woe betide him who was the cause of his incarceration. Oh, I should wish nothing better than he would come and seek a quarrel with me. Yes, and Mercédès, who will detest you if you have only the misfortune to scratch the skin of her dearly beloved Edmond. True, said Fernand. All right. I guess this is why people are still afraid of gangsters, even from prison? Yeah, I've seen The Sopranos. Well, the first 2 seasons of it. I'm working on it. Get off my butt. Okay, but let's ask something again that we asked back in chapter 1, and a little bit this chapter as well. How does Dumas feel about Napoleon? Here we have the bad guys, right? Danglars, bad guy, saying that they're going to frame our good guy, Dante, right, as a Bonapartist agent, which means that the law would see Napoleon sympathizers as bad. Is the law good or bad in this scenario, so that when they capture Dante, the good guy, as Napoleon, the bad guy, yeah, you know what? I guess I don't have enough information via the book to really tell yet. So, but as I think I've maybe mentioned before, I've done a little bit of research on Dumas and his lineage, and I'm happy to report that I will be reading as many biographies as I can get my hands on of Alexandre Dumas. But my preliminary report is that his father was a pretty significant person in the Bonaparte army. I guess that is going to really come down to how does Dumas feel about his dad, Daddy Dumas? TBD. Don't know. I guess that's going to be forthcoming as I read more. I want to get back into some geographical stuff to paint out where we are and the kind of proximity of things to each other. So we talked a lot about the island of Elba. It's a Mediterranean island somewhere near Italy. And apparently, okay, so Napoleon exiled there. I'm not a historian on Napoleon. I think I'm going to learn a little bit about him too. So add that to my list of books along with Dumas to learn about. But all of the European monarchies are apparently like terrified of this dude and his return. So they exile him to this island that is very easily monitored. Like they can see it. They can just keep an eye on him, make sure he doesn't move, send out any reports should he start doing anything sus again. So that's over in Italy. We got to remember, for those of us who are reading this from the United States, like all of the European countries over there are pretty close proximity to each other. They're usually touching, but like it's not 3,000 miles to go from New York to LA to go from France to Italy out there. So that's something to note. This is all happening in pretty close, news traveling distance of each other. Also, we're talking a lot about imprisonment here, and I want to just harken back to the first chapter real quick. We talked about the Chateau d'If, which was apparently a prison island, kind of like Rikers, where they would send people off. So the Fernand had to pass by this prison island as it was coming into port. So between
The
that
Countdown
and
of Monte
the-
Cristo is
the
part of the
Fort
Gruntwork
Saint-Nicolas,
Podcast Network. This show is
there's just
produced,
this
edited,
air
and
of,
hosted by
like,
Landon Solano. The original
don't
text
fuck
of The
up.
Count
Don't
of
do
Monte Cristo
anything
by
that
Alexander
is gonna,
Dumas.
like,
Theme song by Magic
get you
Solo.
in trouble.
If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod.
ready to pounce
Thank you
on
for listening.
anything
See you
that is
tomorrow.
going to threaten the monarchy. And yeah, I am just gonna say, as difficult as 2025 is, I'm glad I don't live during this time. All right, that's all I've got for today. Let's hurtle closer to the end of Chapter 4 tomorrow when we continue with the Count of Monte Cristo. Until then, okay, bye.